Hi, I am back. I'll be reading some more from this book. We're up to chapter 6. As the challenger entered the AGNI cluster, Taylor Hunt was pulling a double shift to ensure that every department was ready for the job it would have with regard to the interpret, and to ensure that those departments not involved don't lose any productivity on their own projects. Most people showed signs of strain when they pulled such a long shift, but Hunt actually lived for it. Scotty fell into step beside him as he walked, and Hunt slowed down slightly to keep step with the older man's pace. Captain, what's up, Taylor? I have arranged a schedule for away teams to the interpret. He handed Scotty a patty with the details. Starfleet was pretty clear about making sure the remains of the crew are taken care of before any other work begins. Scotty gave an approving nod, and rightly so. I agree. We need to take things slowly and with respect. Hunt looked relieved. I was kind of afraid that you want to push on ahead. Don't worry, Mr. Hunt. Respect for the past isn't something I am likely to disregard. I saw, Scotty. I wasn't thinking about it from that angle. So what's your schedule? Dr. OGAWA has assembled a medical forensic team to recover the remains of the crew and bring it back to the challenger to be separated out into individuals. Barclay and I have checked over the STAIS units and their separate MODULES, and they are perfect for the job. Starbase 4110. Have. Starbase 4110. Have. Donna's proud. Actually, what did ye expect from QHAP? Call a meeting of the senior staff in the briefing room for 1200. I want to go over the status of the Intrepid before we reach her. I saw Scotty preferred to be in engineering when he could get away with it, but that was disappointingly infrequent these days. There were too many responsibility as captain for him to be down there as often as he liked. Since the ship could be controlled from the master systems console and engineering. He had been tempted when he took command of the ship to move everything to there, back on the old Enterprise with Jim Cook. He had been able to tell the state of the ship by the vibrations from the deck plates on a Galaxy class ship. He couldn't, but he could tell how healthy the engines were from the sound the warp core made, just the way a doctor could listen to a person's heartbeat if there were no medical tricords around. At least he could sit by the bridges engineering station and keep an eye on things from there. He was pleased by what he saw and could tell that VOL was doing him proud. A chronometer chimed on the display, reminding him that it was time for the briefing. Scotty settled into the chair at the end of the briefing room table, which was to his mind the most comfortable chair in any of the ship's working areas. Perhaps it wasn't as comfortable as his favorite chair in his quarters, but it was a damn sight better for his back than the center seat on the bridge. He cast a look around at the people gathering round the table. On his left, in front of a wall displaying models of previous vessels named Challenger were Taylor Hunt, then NOG and OGAWA on its right, sitting by the curved windows that looked out on one of the clusters. Owen's sons were LEAHGEORDI, Barclay, and QATQA. VOL sat at the far end of the table. Mr. LaFord, Scotty began. You have been on Intrepid. So how would ye describe the state of the ship? The hull is more or less intact, barring a few punctures, and the interior has been left as it was on the day she was lost. The thing that throws a spanner into any normal salvage plan is that physically the structure of the ship is a couple of 1,000 years old, not a couple of 100. That's impossible, Barclay protested, unless someone was building NX class ships before we did. ARYSSA OGAWA shook her head and tapped the pad that was in front of her on the table. I have got Dr. Crusher's report here. The DNA analysis of some of the organic matter coating the interior surfaces matches known medical records of a number of her crew. It's definitely the Intrepid, which was lost in 2161. Could it have traveled back through time? VOL asked. Something like what happened to the Columbia? Hunt shrugged. Maybe. But surely it would have been found before. Space is pretty big, and the ship pretty small. It was pure chance that the Enterprise detected it. Lee Forge reminded them. Aye. There is that, Scotty said. But LEAH and I have had a wee chat about this and won some numbers. He touched a control set into the tabletop, and a holographic display sprang to life in the air above the center of the table. It showed a standard illustration of a gravity well as a weight dragging down the center of a rubber sheet. Everybody knows time runs lower at the bottom of a gravity well. Starfleet Medical uses the effect quite extensively when status fields can't be used. LLYSSA said with a nod. A few hours for the patient near a suitable gravity well can give his doctors weeks or even months to prepare his treatment. LEAH spoke up. Exactly. And what Interpid and encountered was the reverse of that effect. Gravity can only get as low as zero energy, pointed out. Even what we call negative GS or just gravity pulling a change of direction. How can it reach such negative numbers to have an effect like this? Scotty leaned forward. It cannot in normal space. I sensed a butt coming, Hunt said. But in some of the quantum slipstream experiments, we found that the slipstream MATRICES and INTER SECTIN a gravity well in subspace sometimes created the opposite or the reflection of a well. A gravity peak, Barclay asked. Right. We have nicknamed it a subspace gravity spike. LEAH leaned forward and adjusted the hologram. The ghostly image came to life, stretching upward in a mirror image of the gravity well. An object at the peak of the gravity spike will experience accelerated time. In the case of Interpid, 2 millennia. Lee Forge nodded understandingly. Exactly. BRAHMS said, and if we project a course between where she was lost and later found, I am willing to bet we will find a large gravity well at some point, probably closer to her original position than here. But that's not the real mystery. This effect was discovered during the development of the slipstream drive, and it happened to intercept 200 years earlier. LeForge froze his features, settling into a granite mass. There were no slipstream drive experiments in the 22nd century. Scotty grunted, not by any known ALPA quadrant species. Nobody had technology at that level back then, he said, pausing for emphasis that we know of. But there are a lot of people we don't know. You have hit the nail on the head. GEORDI. That's what Starfleet is interested in, and that's why they sent Challenger. Scotty cleared his throat. Where did intercept originally disappear? In the vicinity of star system G-231 QA reported that's a far distance from here, Hunt pointed out, about 400 light years. LEAH tapped a point on the display which apologetically wobbled and flashed. I thought as much. On the other side of the other black hole in the BOLUS reach, it's only about 6 parsecs from G-231. It could never have drifted so far, Hunt said. Even in 200 years, it would take millions of years for an object to drift even the teeniest fraction of that distance. I agree, LeForge said, but it didn't. It would be nice to know how. And what about afterwards? Energy asked. Are you suggesting that Interped somehow navigated its way through a black hole and out the other side? That's insane. The ship's existence is insane. VOL countered the gravitational stresses would have torn her apart. Perhaps Starfleet built them out of stoner stuff in those days. QA said FACET I OUSLY. No, lad, Scotty said. They didn't. The NX class was ancient history when I was chief engineer on the Enterprise. But we still had all the blueprints on file. We still do, actually, LEAH reminded him. But in those days, we still read through the old files now and again. There were enough old ships still around dating that far back that we might run into. Not so much nowadays, Barclay said. Not with 22nd century ships, but Starfleet was still using the old MIRANDA and OBERTH class ships until a decade ago, and they were from my era, and the hood is still in service, isn't she? Scotty asked. Yes, and private owners can run ships of any age if they can prove they are space worthy. VOL stated. Barclay nodded, and the Klingons still use the BREEL class board prey, and there are a few KTINGAS left in service. Leaford sat back, staring at the hologram. The interbed couldn't have flown through a black hole. It's physically impossible to survive falling into the singularity, unless it's a rotating black hole, Barclay suggested, and they somehow manage to orbit the singularity and a slingshot back out. Impossible, LEAH said flatly. Similar things have happened, LaForge said. Aye, lad, Scotty said with a grin. The old Enterprise that I served on survived two slingshots around a black star. But that was only Warlock station type 3 type 3 similarity, not something with the gravitational power of a true black hole. But if the orbit was far enough out, as Barclay, which it couldn't be led. You are forgetting the big differences between the CONNIE class and the NX class. Firstly, the materials they intercept is constructed of couldn't have survived the TORS IONAS stresses, and not for that matter would World War Five be quite enough to get the job done. Secondly, and even more importantly, the crew of the Enterprise were alive, and at their post, where is the crew of the Intrepid were already all dead. Do we know that for a fact? Asked QA. That's what my forensic technicians will attempt to confirm. OGAWA said the walls will speak for themselves. I appreciate that the crew died instantly due to a claustrophobic failure of the internal dampeners. What I am asking is whether that failure couldn't have been caused by the slingshot effect. You did just say, sir. Barclay said that an Intrepid couldn't have taken the stresses of such a maneuver, and we know that something gave. I didn't just say her systems couldn't have taken the strain, Mr. Barclay. I said the material she was built out of her actual frame and hull would have broken up like an eggshell in a food blender. No, the Intrepid did not fly through a black hole. Scotty paused for a moment, thinking about the state of the ship they were about to visit. It was old, it was functional, but it could but it could still be made to get back up and running again. It sounded like himself, and the thought amused him. All right, so when we arrive, the engineering team wants to be looking for signs of having encountered a subspace gravity inversion and slip system. That sounds like a good place to start. So I will leave it up to all you to get it seen to. He stood. I will be seeing if I could arrange a look at G-231 while we are at it. As everyone filed out of the briefing room, LaForge ended up following QA through the door back onto the bridge. I wonder how impossible surviving a slingshot through a black hole would really be with current technology. The Klingon pilot said thoughtfully. Personally, I'd rather never find out if it's all the same to you. Barclay volunteered as he walked past them before disappearing into the turbo lift. QA continued. I understand the mechanism. I understand the mechanics, the MECHANICS of the slingshot effect, and I have studied its use in the past. It's quite rare, but effective. How well LaForge as they walked down to their stations. Captain Scott has survived the process half a dozen times or so. I believe that's still a record. Her eyes took on a hungry gleam. I have set many flight records in the Empire, but one such as that eludes me. But you like to try or to make an achievement of equal stature. An elusive achievement is a challenge, and I have always risen to challenges. I am glad to hear it. I think as LaForge cast an eye over the status display on the ops console, Scotty tapped him on the shoulder and nodded toward the waiting room door. G-E-E-O-R-D-I followed him through, and Scotty sat behind his desk. Lee Forge was amused to note that Will Picard used to have a fish tank. Scotty had a shield and a couple of claymore swords. Don't worry about QATQA, Scotty began. She's ambitious, stubborn, and well, you know how the Klingons are all about taking on a challenge, but she's not stupid and she's not crazy. I have seen her piloting. Geordi said in a tone that suggested he wasn't so soft. Don't get to be the most decorated test pilot in anyone's office by being stupid or crazy. I need to be crazy enough to want to fly untried contraptions in the first place, but you also have to be stable and professional enough to take note of everything and to take a ship to its limits without wrecking it and wasting all the time and effort that was put into making the beastie to begin with. She's the most decorated helm in the Empire. Lee Forge was suitably impressed. Test pilot, yes, I dare say there are a lot of other Klingons with more decorations for service in battle, but none for trying out new vessels and new maneuvers. So how did you manage to get her into the exchange program? I'd have thought she'd be too valuable to the Klingons and have too many state secrets in her head. I suspect she does, but I have a little influence with one of two Klingon families on the High Council. Maybe not as much as Captain Picard, but I have done my bit. I was there at the KHITOMER conference. As a matter of fact, I shot the would-be assassin who was trying to shoot CHANCELLOR Azzetbur. LeForge nodded. I mean, LeForge nodded. I remember reading about that. Her house still remembers me. And then I also ran into QA's paternal grandparents once or twice, and their house has this view that while the Enterprise crew might have been enemies at times, we were worthy and honorable enemies. LeForge thought of Worf's attitudes and found himself nodding again. I understand. Right. Well, right. Now let me see what I can find out about G-231. When the Forge had gone, Scotty keyed his panel and hailed another engineer dash captain. After a few moments, a very pretty black-haired Hispanic woman appeared on screen, sitting in the center seat of a starship bridge. Scotty put on his most winning smile. Captain GOMEZ, it's always a pleasure. She grinned. Likewise, Scotty. SONYI. I was just wondering whether you are free to do me a wee favor. How wee a favor did you have in mind? How soon do you think? How do you think the DAVINCA could reach Star System G23I? GONYA looked behind her to where a Starkey TELLARITE was consulting a screen. About 18 hours, the TELLARITE said, that sounds good enough, Ross. What did you have in mind for us to do there? I need a full subspace scan of the whole system. Look for anything odd. It'd help if you could define odd a little more specifically. Wormhole, subspace disorientation fields, graphic, GRAVIMETRIC, distortions, anything that might indicate the use of a slipstream technology. Okay, that's pretty clear. 200 years in the past. Her eyes widened. 200 years? You must be joking. Everything leads a leaves a everything leaves a trace. Or something. SONYA. I just have the suspicion that if there's anything there, you will know it when you find it. When you find it, all right. We don't have anything that's a priority, and you did put me in the seat. I will get back to you when we arrive at G-231. Thanks, lass. I owe you one. Single malt this time, Scotty. DAVINCI out. The Challenger dropped out of warp 10,000 kilometers from the buoyancy that the Enterprise had left behind to mark Intrepid's position and sailed the west other way on impulse power. Everyone who could think of a reason to be on the bridge was there for the foresight of Intrepid. OGAWA stood out the way in a corner while Barclay kept trying to look over people's shoulders at what they were doing. Even VOL had squeezed himself into a turbo lift and come up on the pretense of running a diagnostic on the bridge's engineering console. QATQA turned in our seat. We are at the location marked by the Enterprise Captain Scott in a pit. It is 15 Intrepid is 15 kilometers from the marked buoyancy. Right then, Scotty said, "Let's have a look at the grand old glass." He beside him, Hunt touched a control on his armrest, and the main viewer switched to a closer view of the NX class vessel. Lee Forge had already seen it, but he got a thrill out of seeing Scotty's expression react to the sight. There she is, just the way I left her. She's a beauty to be sure, Scotty breathed. It's fair enough to go to the Fleet Museum and see one of these, but out here, it's a whole different ball game, isn't it? Kind of makes you feel that you are part of that era. Geordi agreed. It's like it's like the difference between seeing a wild animal in captivity in captivity or in its natural environment. BRAHMS stood and walked over to the main viewer, resting a hand on the back of Lee Forge's seat. We have no idea how long it might take to get life support back up on intercept, or even if it's actually possible at all. So we will dock. Our runabouts and sorters at the other airlocks to use as base camps for the work crews, as well as a source of power for any systems we can get working. GEORDI nodded. Once the breaches are repaired, we should be able to use a shutter's shutter's life support system to repasteurize the intercept. That will be used for Hunagreed. The sooner the away team doesn't have to be wearing EV suits, the happier and less clumsy they will be. Exactly what I am thinking, LEAH added. First things first, OGAWA said. We need to recover the remains of the crew before life support is restored. That could take a while. It could, but it's going to be easier and more HYGIENIC to remove the remains before an atmosphere can act as a biological or bacterial vector. When that happens, the material adhering to the wall will begin to decay and leaving aside in any issues of contamination. Any issues of contamination, it will stink. We will send the runabouts CLYDE and THAMES to the main locks on either side of the saucer, Hans said. We have already swapped out the standard mission MOD ULES for workshops. LEAH nodded. And And if we can get intercepts power grid to where it will actually carry an energy supply. We can use the warp cores from the one about to start it up. OGAWA came around to address Scotty Captain if the medical forensic team can make use of one of the other runabouts. Agree, Scotty said. Use the CLYDE Doctor CONCENTRATE. Concentrate on recovering the remains from the bridge and engineering force that will help Minister Lee Forge and his team get to work sooner. That sounds more sensible to me anyway. The 3 locations with the most jumbled up remains will be the bridge engineering and the crew's mess. The biomatter from those locations will need the longest time to separate out into individual remains. The remains in the cabin. The remains in the cabins should belong to no more than 4 people per room. Right then, the crew mess will be your third priority. We shouldn't need to use it at all, of course. So it's less of a priority from an engineering viewpoint. OGAWA nodded and left to prepare to go across to the other ship. Lee Forge looked up at BRAHMS. She's a pretty sight, isn't she? Isn't she pretty, but very out of date? Just look at what passes for her NACELLE radiators. It's a product of a bygone age. That's rightfully bygone. Oh, come on, Doc, VOL protested. Those are classics. Proper, solid, hardwired technology. Which broke down as often as not. It belongs in the museum that we will put it in. Where we can look at such PRIMIT IVISM in a safe environment. And be relieved that the starship construction and design has moved on since that one was built. Hunt added. In Nielsen's GUINAN stood by the huge forward windows and looked out on the Interped. It was an era through which she had lived, but the ship wasn't one she had any familiar wasn't one she had any can't talk familiarity with. That said, she tended not to take too much notice of the exteriors of ships and the interiors intended to blend together after the first couple of centuries. She heard a wistful sigh a few feet away, and John. There were only a couple of the other people in the lounge area, mostly looking tired after finishing a long shift. But one person was leaning forward, his hands pressed against the windows. He was looking at Interped with the expression of a man who had returned to his childhood home and found a favorite old toy still in the corner. It was a mix of amazement, wonder, and infinite sadness at what had been lost or left behind. She slipped closer to him, and he didn't notice. You must be RASMUSSEN. The man started, but looked like he was. He was about to snarl at her, then caught himself. Yes, BERLINGHOFF. RASMUSSEN possesses the name. Have we met on the Enterprise? Nobody else would be looking at Interped with your expression. NOSTALGIA. It's a wonderful thing. Actually, I wasn't thinking. NOSTALGIA. NOSTALGIA possesses a good feeling that people like to seek out because it reminds them of of the good times. You look more sad, as if you'd lost something. Rasmussen turned his gaze upon her and flashed a very charming smile. You are a very P-E-R-S-P-I-C a P-E-R-S-P-I-C I-C-A-C-I-O-U-S lady. If you don't then don't mind my saying so. I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. Rasmussen brightened and gestured toward the bar. Maybe a drink for the lady. For the lady. I have one already. It was a long time since a criminal offered to buy her a drink, and that was another nostalgic feeling. I do have a certain nostalgia for the era, though. Oh, you'd have liked it, I think. It was a good time back on Earth. He seemed to realize something. Are you from Earth yourself? She shook her head. But I have been there a lot. Not during the 22nd century, though. I was busy elsewhere. His expression momentarily froze. So she breezed past the moment by asking, "You must remember a lot about the missions of these ships." Well, not the classified material, but I remember that the news reports. Yes. Guinan looked across to the door as Lee Forge entered Nelson's and made a beeline for Rasmussen. I have been looking for you, he began, then caught himself. Do you remember? Do you remember in any news reports about the disappearance of the Interpid? Rasmussen shrugged. I was a civilian after all, and not really a part two, just off fleets, logs, and records. At least not until they were released to the public. So what did they release to the new servant? What did they report? To be honest, I tended to tune out during the reports. When the first Warp 5 vessel was launched, there was a lot of interest, but after a while, public interest waned, just as it did with the Apollo moon landings and the space shuttle and the Mars Venus project and all the rest of it. You wouldn't think something as important would become so. Boeing, RAS, MUSSE, and offered. I was going to say commonplace. That's human nature. GEORDI. Something is unusual. Something is unusual until only it becomes usual. Then very quickly it becomes commonplace and then boring. When you think of the effort it took to get out here, the technological advances. Yet once we are out here, we are just here. How long have you been chief engineer of the Enterprise? 19 years on 2 Enterprises. Why? How often do you stop and think, wow, I am off of humanity's homeworld in a starship crossing the universe. I'm always aware of that. How often do you think, hey, it's time to clock in for my shift in engineering, or when I get off work, I will go and have some dinner. Lee Forge didn't need to reply. His expression spoke volumes. Exactly. It's everyday boring humdrum. It's more than that. I had to work my butt off at a Starfleet Academy, and now it's your everyday job. Don't feel bad. Like I said, it's human nature. Lee Forge nodded toward the window. Is that commonplace to you? RAS, MUSSEN glanced at GUINAN again, and she knew it. And she knew it was anything but. Not anymore, he said at last. Okay, that's the end of chapter 6. Bye-bye.